GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm Jordan Parker. We'll break down the suspected shooting on Danzig Street, explain why MP Sean Chen is resigning, and update you on the 2-week e-bike and e-scooter crackdown. I'll also give a quick traffic snapshot before we head to the Ranby Tour preview. Over to you, Nathan.
The Ranby Tour arrives in Toronto this weekend, featuring performances by Usher Raymond and Chris Brown at the Scotiabank Arena on Saturday night.
Tickets go on sale tomorrow, with general admission starting at $45 and premium packages offering meet and greet access for $150 each.
The concert will feature a 30-minute opening set by local Ranby artist Kesha, followed by a collaborative performance between Usher and Chris Brown on the main stage.
Lots to get to, let's begin, and enjoy the rhythm of Toronto's vibrant music scene as we dive into today's stories. Here are our top stories.
Police are investigating a targeted shooting outside the Danzig Street townhouse complex near Morningside and Lawrence Avenues in Scarborough, reported around 3 a.m. on Tuesday, August 11th. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Police are investigating a suspected targeted shooting that erupted just before dawn outside a townhouse complex on Danzig Street, near the intersection of Morningside and Lawrence Avenues in Scarborough. Officers arrived around 3 a.m. on Tuesday, August 11th, after receiving calls reporting multiple gunshots and a vehicle speeding away from the scene. Witnesses described hearing several loud bursts before the suspect fled in a dark sedan. Uniformed officers canvassed the neighborhood, securing the perimeter and gathering statements while emergency crews treated at least one injured person on site. The investigation remains active, with detectives reviewing surveillance footage and searching for additional witnesses. No arrests have been announced at this time. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Scarborough.
Toronto Liberal MP Sean Chen announced he will resign his Scarborough North seat by the end of the week, citing travel-limiting injuries from a late 2025 car accident. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Sean Chen, the Liberal MP for Scarborough North, told constituents he will vacate his seat by the close of the week of August 10, 2026. He cited lingering injuries from a car crash that occurred in late 2025, which have kept him from making the regular trips to Ottawa. Chen first won the riding in the federal election of 2015 and has served for 11 years. Party officials said a by-election will be called once the resignation is formalized. Residents gathered outside the community center where Chen delivered the announcement, many expressing gratitude for his decade of service. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Scarborough North.
Toronto police have launched a 2-week traffic enforcement campaign targeting e-bikes and e-scooters that violate city regulations, aiming to raise micromobility awareness before the back-to-school season. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Police have kicked off a 2-week sweep across the city, pulling over e-bike and e-scooter riders who break municipal rules. Officers are setting up checkpoints and cruising busy corridors, looking for vehicles without proper registration, speed limits exceeded, or riders without helmets. The operation runs from August 10th through August 24, time to remind commuters before the back-to-school rush. Drivers caught will face fines and possible impoundments, while officers also hand out flyers explaining where to ride legally. The campaign aims to curb unsafe practices and keep streets clear as students head back to classrooms. That's the latest from the front lines of micromobility enforcement. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Ontario announced a $1.2 million restoration project for Brampton's Heart Lake Conservation Park, aimed at improving and preserving the natural environment. The initiative launches this week. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
The province of Ontario is putting $1.2 million into a restoration effort at Heart Lake Conservation Park in Brampton. Officials say the work aims to improve water quality in the lake and create a healthier environment for local wildlife. The announcement came Thursday, with the province's Natural Resources Minister confirming the funding. The province will partner with the City of Brampton and local NGOs to oversee the project, which includes repairing eroded shorelines, planting native vegetation, installing new boardwalks, and creating buffer zones along the water's edge. Construction crews are slated to begin later this summer, with volunteers expected to help with tree planting and invasive species removal. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Heart Lake.
Toronto has reconfigured the Wellington and Portland intersection, cutting vehicle trips while increasing space for cyclists and pedestrians as part of its active transportation push. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
At the bustling junction of Wellington Street West and Portland Street, the City of Toronto unveiled a new traffic configuration this August. The redesign redirects vehicle flow, narrowing lanes, and adding dedicated space for cyclists and pedestrians. Early counts show a drop in car trips through the intersection, while the number of cyclists and walkers using the corridor has risen noticeably. The changes are part of a broader municipal push to reshape streets for active transportation, aiming to curb motor vehicle dominance in the downtown core. Observers note smoother pedestrian crossings and a more continuous bike lane linking nearby trails. The revamped intersection now serves as a test case for the city's evolving street use strategy. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Wellington.
Up next, we'll cover the canoe capsizing on an Ontario lake, 1 dead and 1 rescued. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Toronto police arrested 2 men after a downtown armed robbery, apprehending them as they fled in a stolen vehicle. The investigation continues into the incident. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
Police say the 2 male suspects were apprehended just after a downtown armed robbery earlier this week. Officers spotted a stolen sedan speeding away from the crime scene and gave chase down Yonge Street. The suspects tried to lose the police, weaving through traffic before the squad cornered the vehicle near the Eaton Centre. After a brief standoff, both men surrendered and were taken into custody. The arrest took place just before noon on Monday, and officers confirmed the car had been reported stolen 2 days prior. Detectives are now reviewing surveillance footage and canvassing the area for additional witnesses. The investigation remains open as they work to identify any accomplices and determine what was taken during the robbery. No injuries were reported. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, St. Lawrence.
TTC Board has ordered an immediate halt to random drug and alcohol testing for its staff, following an arbitrator's recommendation. The decision affects all Toronto Transit employees. Dev Shouhri has the full story.
The TTC Board has ordered an immediate stop to random drug and alcohol testing of its staff, acting on a recommendation from an arbitrator. The decision was announced Sunday afternoon, 14 minutes past 2 Eastern Daylight Time, and the board said the testing program will be suspended while it reviews alternative safety protocols. Officials noted the arbitrator advised that the random tests were not required under the current collective agreement. No timeline was given for a new policy, and the board promised to keep union representatives informed as it moves forward. The move comes as the Commission seeks to balance employee rights with public safety concerns. Dev Shouhri, GMNA News, Bay Street.
A canoe overturned on Stewart Lake in Georgian Bay Township, killing 1 occupant and rescuing the other about 40 feet from shore, according to Ontario police. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
2 paddlers set out on Stewart Lake late Thursday afternoon. About 40 feet from shore, their canoe tipped, throwing both into the cold water. One of the occupants was pulled from the surface by the fellow canoeist and emergency responders, but did not survive. The second paddler was rescued and taken to a nearby hospital for evaluation. Ontario police arrived within minutes, securing the scene and confirming the fatality. Divers were deployed to locate the missing persons equipment, and authorities are reviewing weather and water conditions at the time of the incident. Rescue crews deployed a small inflatable boat to bring the survivor ashore, and officers are speaking with witnesses about the calm weather reported at that hour. No further injuries were reported. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Stuart Lake.
Environment Canada confirmed 2 tornadoes touched down in southern Ontario after a storm alert, bringing damaging winds, large hail, and intense rainfall. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
2 tornadoes ripped through southern Ontario on August 8th after Environment Canada had issued a tornado alert earlier in the day. The funnels touched down within minutes of each other, spawning violent winds that snapped trees, tossed vehicles, and shattered windows. Large hail the size of golf balls hammered neighborhoods, while rain hammered the streets, causing flash flooding in low-lying areas. Emergency crews arrived quickly, clearing debris and assisting residents trapped in damaged homes. Meteorologists noted the storm system was driven by severe thunderstorms that produced both damaging winds and intense rainfall, a combination that rarely spawns tornadoes in this part of the province. Residents are urged to stay tuned for further updates as cleanup efforts continue. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Ontario families are pressing for heightened West Nile virus awareness as mosquito season peaks, while health officials urge residents to use repellent and eliminate breeding sites to prevent severe illness. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
With mosquito season now at its peak, families across Ontario are pressing health officials for louder public messaging about West Nile virus. The province's health ministry has reiterated basic steps, using insect repellent, wearing long sleeves at dusk, and eliminating standing water to keep the disease at bay. While most infections produce only flu-like aches and fevers, officials warn that a small percentage can progress to severe neurological illness or even death. Advocacy groups say earlier warnings could cut those serious cases, especially as outdoor activities surge this summer. The call comes as hospitals report a modest rise in confirmed cases compared with last year's low season numbers. Officials also urge people to keep doors and windows screened and to run fans, making indoor areas less attractive to mosquitoes. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
Let's get a look at your afternoon forecast with our meteorologist coming right up.
A western jet streak drags an unsettled trough toward us, turning today's calm into a late-day cloud surge. On this date, Toronto once baked to 32.8 degrees Celsius back in 2016, a record set during an early-season heat wave that pushed the city into the upper 30s for several days. The coldest reading for August 11 came in 2013 when temperatures fell to 12.7 degrees Celsius, a rare dip tied to a lingering Arctic air mass that sneaked south behind a stalled front. By contrast, today's climatological average hovers around 22 degrees, with typical highs near 24. The live radar shows a clean swath of clear air across southern Ontario, with no echoes north or south of the city. The absence of precipitation reflects the high-pressure dome that has settled over the Great Lakes, while the fast western jet aloft is steering the disturbance well east of the Ontario-Quebec border. Expect the rain band to arrive after sunset, but for now the sky remains dry as we turn to today's outlook. At noon, the city feels mild with a temperature of 23 degrees and a light west wind. The pressure field is falling, signaling that the western trough will deepen over the next few hours. By mid-afternoon, the sun climbs to a high of 25 degrees, but the jet stream above continues to push cooler air aloft, keeping humidity near 74%. As the trough slides eastward after sunset, clouds will thicken, leading to an overcast sky around 7 p.m. while temperatures dip to 18 degrees. UV index 7. No weather alerts are in effect. The overall pattern is a transition from today's clear spell to a cooler, cloudier night. Looking ahead, Wednesday brings a surge of moisture as the western jet pushes a warm front into the region, producing overcast skies and a high near 29 degrees with a low of 17. Thursday clears as high pressure builds, delivering a bright day and a high of 27 while lows settle around 18. Friday remains mainly clear, though the jet's slight dip brings a cooler high of 26 and a low of 15. Saturday returns to a crisp clear pattern, high 21 and low 15, perfect for a dry evening. Sunday shifts back to cloud cover with a 60% chance of rain, a high of 23 and a low of 16 as the lingering trough settles in. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, we'll cover clear traffic, Mumu Canada's new Markham flagship, and the Usher and Chris Brown Ranby tour. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Lakeshore Boulevard between British Columbia Road and Bathurst Street is closed for FIFA World Cup events. Drivers heading to the waterfront will need to detour onto Queen Street East or Gardiner Expressway. On the highway, the eastbound collector lane on the 401 closes nightly between Yonge Street and Don Mills Road. Expect alternating traffic flow there this evening, but it is not affecting this morning's commute. The TTC's Yonge University line runs an early nightly closure from Lawrence West to St. George stations, so trains are running on a reduced schedule this morning. No other incidents are reported and the main arteries are moving freely. Looking ahead, the downtown core should stay clear through the afternoon, though the Lakeshore closure will remain in place. If you're heading west on the Gardiner, plan for a possible slowdown near the Lakeshore detour. That's the traffic outlook for now.
Usher and Chris Brown light up Rogers Stadium tonight with the Ranby Tour, a must-see Ranby showdown that promises non-stop hits and a Looney Dogs night twist for baseball fans. Across town at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays take on the Red Sox in a classic rivalry, and the stadium's dog-themed promotion adds a fun family vibe. Tennis lovers can catch the National Bank Open WTA quarterfinals at Sobeys Stadium, where the world's top women battle for a spot in the semifinals. High-stakes action on a summer night. If classic rock is more your speed, Rush rolls into Scotiabank Arena for a 50-something celebration, delivering the anthems that defined a generation. Looking ahead, Hilary Duff's Toronto dates are almost sold out, and tomorrow's Blue Jays-Red Sox game continues the series, while the CNE kicks off later this month with rides, food, and live music. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Morning buzz in Toronto. Baseball drama, Red Sox debut and Raptors Leonard outlook. The Blue Jays shrugged off a bizarre umpire ruling to secure a win over Boston, with third baseman Charles McAdoo's fifth-inning homer providing the spark. The victory reinforces Toronto's offensive depth and puts pressure on the Red Sox to adjust their pitching strategy moving forward. Boston will debut its trade deadline acquisition, catcher Michael Rutschman, at Rogers Center on Tuesday. His defensive skill set and left-handed bat give the Red Sox a fresh look behind the plate, forcing the Blue Jays to re-evaluate their bullpen matchups and lineup construction. Analysts Michael Grange and Ivanka Osmek argue the latest clues point to Kawhi Leonard remaining in a Raptors uniform for the 2026 season. The investigation's findings suggest continuity for Toronto's star wing, giving the franchise a stable cornerstone as it plots a deep playoff run.
Mumu Canada opens its new flagship store at CF Markville Mall in Markham, turning a digital brokerage into a real-world hub for local investors. The 2,500-square-foot space features a modern trading floor, hands-on workshops, and a dedicated customer service desk, all designed to demystify investing for newcomers and seasoned traders alike. Opening on August 9, 2026, the venue will host weekly market analysis sessions, youth financial literacy classes, and live demo days that let Torontonians see the platform in action. By planting a physical presence in Markham, Mumu is bridging the gap between technology and community, giving the neighborhood a tangible resource for building wealth and confidence. It's a reminder that the city's future grows when innovation meets everyday people. Stay tuned as we investigate the Oshawa man arrested for an intentional hit and run, Then police watchdog probe, we will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. Supporters of the Iranian-Canadian community have gathered on Queen's Park's South Lawn to commemorate the 38th anniversary of Iran's 1988 political prisoner massacre, turning the historic park into a poignant rally for justice and remembrance. Hundreds of voices echoed through the downtown core, demanding accountability and honoring the victims. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the sun-warmed grass of Queen's Park South Lawn, the stone facade of the Legislative Assembly looming behind me. A sea of red scarves and white banners ripple in the gentle downtown breeze as dozens of Iranian-Canadian activists gather, their voices rising in unison. The crowd holds placards that read "No to Executions" and "Remember 1988", each one a quiet protest against the 38-year-old wound of the 1988 political prisoner massacre. Families sit on blankets, a grandmother cradles a child, and a young poet steps forward, reciting verses in Persian that echo across the historic park. The scent of fresh-cut grass mixes with the distant hum of city traffic, grounding the moment in everyday Toronto life while the rally marks a solemn anniversary. This gathering transforms a civic space into a living memorial, reminding us that history's shadows can be illuminated by community solidarity. Carl Dumont, virtually at Queen's Park South Lawn.
Welcome back. Oshawa police have arrested a driver accused of deliberately striking a pedestrian and fleeing the scene early August, charging him with multiple offenses under Ontario's strict hit-and-run laws. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Police say a man from Oshawa was taken into custody early August after investigators concluded he deliberately struck a pedestrian with his vehicle and fled the scene. Officers reviewed dash cam footage and gathered witness statements that pointed to a purposeful acceleration into the victim, then a rapid departure toward a nearby residential street. The driver now faces charges of aggravated assault, dangerous driving causing bodily harm, and fleeing the scene of a collision, among others. Crown prosecutors warned that intentional hit-and-run incidents are treated as serious offenses throughout Ontario, often resulting in multiple criminal counts. The arrest underscores the city's ongoing effort to hold reckless drivers accountable. Community members expressed relief that the case moved forward quickly. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Oshawa.
Ontario's Special Investigations Unit is probing a Pickering collision between a police cruiser and a civilian vehicle that occurred on August 7th. The investigation focuses on officer conduct and vehicle safety. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Police say a collision between a provincial police cruiser and a civilian car occurred on the southbound lanes of Highway 44 near the intersection of Brock Road on August 7th. Both vehicles sustained damage. Emergency crews treated minor injuries at the scene before transporting the occupants to hospital. The Special Investigations Unit, Ontario's independent body that reviews police-involved incidents, has opened a formal inquiry. Investigators are gathering witness statements, dash cam footage, and forensic evidence to determine the sequence of events and whether any policy was breached. No arrests have been made, and officials have asked the public to refrain from speculation while the probe continues. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Pickering.
Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Tonight's look at the new bike and scooter crackdown reminded us how our city balances safety and mobility. I'm Jordan Parker, and I'll see you tomorrow for more stories that matter to our community. Stay safe and have a great evening.